If you'd like to purchase Magic Online cards at competitive prices, check out our web store at mtgoacademy.com/store.
All right, we're back for round one. Our opponent Mookie Dude 2002 was probably born like only 12 years ago. This hand is really mediocre, but I'm gonna keep it. So we're not gonna mulligan this. On the draw, it's a little weak, especially because this is so slow. But I'm hopeful we can find something. What I'm afraid, though, is that the deck is too top-heavy. That's really great, what we just found. I really wish we had a Rafellos, of course. So maybe we just didn't... I mean, early on I was like, oh, we really want those Basking Root Walls, and they just didn't come. Maybe that was the problem? I don't know. I would be willing to put an Armadillo Cloak on this guy if I didn't think he was going to get exiled, though. But he probably will. That's the problem, is that we're... Okay, when do we want to do that? This is a question. I'd really like to cast that now while it resolves. And then we can use it to make Arrogant Worm turn into a thing. Let's play out the Shoat first. So I'm slow rolling it a little bit, but I think that's probably okay. And that forces him, if he wants to get through, to shadow this guy. Which he's not going to do. That's fine. That would have made a lot of other stuff just seem super awful if I'd done it. So like this turn, I think I keep this back. And I think what I do is I Nature's Lore and then play Survival. And that makes sense to me. So let's Nature's Lore. Find a forest. And play Survival. And I'm not going to keep Swords open because I don't care. And then we pass. And now we get to see if this is good. And I hope it is. I hope next turn is insane. Really. Okay, so he's playing the Cycling deck, which is scary. And he's not doing anything else. That's fine. So let's draw a card. That's okay. Kind of wish... Like, do we want to do this now? That's the first question. No, because he could counter something. I'm going to wait till his turn. So what I'm going to do is discard Arrogant Worm to find a Basking Root Walla, and play the Arrogant Worm, and then discard the Basking Root Walla to find something else. And I'm going to do that during his turn, unless he taps out here, which he didn't. So that's good news. I mean, he can cycle something and turn this into a 4/4. I'm not sure if this is like better or worse than a normal 4/4. I take it there what he was doing is thinking about shadowing this guy. That would be okay. Yeah. So then he attacks. Now if he has something to cycle here, he can just kill our Arrogant Worm. I'm going to make sure we don't have any auto yields. Pay, discard, choose the replacement effects. Okay, let's choose Discard with Madness. This always makes me nervous. So far, so good. Yeah, so Madness happens. Let's make sure, yes, I would like to cast Arrogant Worm. Always makes me incredibly nervous. We can just Swords this, so I'm not going to worry about... Okay, so he does counter this. That's too bad. But it's okay, we still got to discard it. And then we find... it seems like finding Basking Root Wall is the obvious find here. And take it we don't really need to do that right now. We can see if he's going to like cycle anything on his own. But I doubt he will. And then we can just EOT Root Walla. Alright. So, yeah, let's discard with Madness. Yep, we know how to do this now. And we want to make sure we don't run through all the best cards in our deck. But with Madness cards, you don't do that. So, what do we want to find? Next turn, I kind of want to make something good happen. I almost wonder if like Blastoderm is the right play. Elvish Aberration could also come down, but like can't do everything I want to do with all these cards. He's got 4 cards left in hand. Got a Simian Grunts, which would be cool to find later. I think probably the best thing to do is find a Blastoderm, and I can Swords his guy. That seems reasonable to me. Blastoderm seems pretty good. As a 5/5. So let's draw a creature. We didn't, but that's okay. I think I attack with both these gentlemen and play the Derm and keep up Swords and Cycling. Did you not get in there, Shoat? There you go. Alright. So I could also cycle this right now, and that might be beneficial. Then we eliminate the possibility that this will hurt us somehow later. Giant Mantis is fine. What I will probably do is just pitch that on a later turn, and right now play the Derm. Alright, so that seemed fine. Shadow Guy can get through. That's okay with me. We can gain some life later. Ooh, Nevinyrral's Disc. Artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Really? You jerk. Okay, well, didn't see that coming. I guess it's good that we kept some of these things. But Blastoderm's sure going to take a hit. We don't need to Swords anything now. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, there's no reason not to play that. Wow, lame that he has a Nevinyrral's Disc. At least we're in a situation where this guy will become 3/3, which is good. So let's have some fun attacking with Rudy and Blastoderm. And this guy can just trade for 2 dudes, so that's okay. Probably just wants to prevent damage here. He's going to kill the survival. And sure, we'll make him take some extra. I actually think the Mantis is probably fine, though. Alright. Yeah, so I'll pass here. I think we're still in okay shape, just because plays a land and cracks this. Definitely hurts me more than him, but I at least have some good stuff to follow it up. I can find, like, Sylvos. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go ahead and take this. I'm not going to do anything stupid and block here. Alright, so he's doing that now. Like, the question is, do I want to crack this to find a better creature than Giant Mantis? I actually think that Giant Mantis might be one of the better creatures I can find. So I'm tempted to not do that. Just because I don't want to thin out my draws. But that could be wrong. I might also just want to find something much fatter. And I've decided that that is what I want. So let's find something much fatter. Like Crozen Tusker. Alright, that guy's pretty big. Okay, so everything can die. Makes me sad, but we're still in this game. And what's he going to play? Manowar? That's a bummer. Okay, well, it's disappointing, but worse things have happened. Okay, Deathblade, that's okay. I can kill it, and we can also give our other guys trample. Though that, of course, also makes me sad. I'm going to cast this. Next turn, we can cloak him up and then play an Earn him. He's only got 2 cards left in hand, and he's used a Manowar. Like, our pants are less good against him, obviously. Is this going to be like another Manowar? What is this? Okay, deep analysis is fine. As long as this isn't a swords to plowshares. I think I'm okay with what's going on. I mean, it could be a sword, so we took 2 and it's uncommon. So I'm hopeful that it's not. I'm actually going to play this now. And I will try this. If this is a swords to plowshares, that makes me real sad, but... yeah, he would have swords didn't respond, so I would gain less life. So let's crack in there with this giant guy. That seems fine. So we're not in any danger of dying anytime soon. And I'm going to play this. Yeah, I knew I needed to tap properly. So this guy, not bad here. What's his plan? Okay, deep analysis again, go to 4 life. He's got to do something with 3 mana that's really good. Okay, he couldn't figure it out. So we took game 1. Alright, he's got a Nevinrel's disc and lots of pants. Do we end up taking away to deal with that? Yes. Not sure if this is right, though. Because we have to have it before he plays his thing. And that's just not great. The other cards we saw, like Akroma's Blessing doesn't stop disc. Like Deathblade Elite, not scary. He's got the cycling guy. We can kill that in response to a cycle event. It's okay, I guess. We didn't see Exile, though I'd be surprised if it's not there. Armadillo Cloak, not good against Disc or against his Mana Wars, which he might have more than one. But it might also be okay. It depends, honestly. The survival plan worked pretty well, though. So, I don't know. I could bring in Seal of Cleansing. I could cut the Armadillo Cloak. And, like, bring in Claws. Because he could have flying guys that are a problem, but we didn't see any of them. And he's, I guess, trying to play this cycle game. Yeah, so I'm cutting this. We also saw the Rescind. What do we want to bring in instead? Like, Jungle Worm doesn't seem so stellar. Another Noble Templar might be okay, actually. And Shelter might be okay. Claws of Wirewood at least cycles. I'm going to bring in another just fat dude that can find a plains. That seems not wrong to do. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, the Armadillo Cloak is scary, and now he has to watch out for it, but, like, big deal. Okay, this hand is also good because it's a survival hand. And all those are good. That's a pain. We'll eventually be able to deal with it, but that's a pain. That is fine. So we don't have a first turn play. In a deck with like a bunch of Fintorn Elves, I kind of wish that we'd had a first turn play. But alas, we did not. So depending on whether we draw a land or not, and we did, I am now, I think, going to play Survival here. Especially because I know I can make it resolve. And we can take a big one. That's okay. That's going to be okay, given the way things are. I mean, he can, like, potentially assassinate guys. This is basically like a bad regenerate in combat. Alright. So, I would like to play a land. I don't know if I want to do this yet. Because I want to find, like, Arrogant Worm. So what I might do... This is actually, like, hard for me to decide what to do. All of our guys are super expensive. And... like, I could pitch something and find a Basking Rootwalla. But that's also not super exciting right now. I'd rather just cycle this. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do. It doesn't do much against these Deathblade Elites either, because they basically can sit there and regenerate like punks. If I want to sword something, I can just force cycle instead. Okay, I will take 2 from these guys. That is a-okay with me. Now let's see what happens. Nomad? Ugh. That guy's irritating, but I don't think that's the end of the world. I'm going to cycle this guy. Yeah, that seems right to me. Yeah, and we want to find a forest. Always find a forest. Wild mongrel, good enough. All right, so here we go. Another land is fine. We play the forest. This is where hopefully good things start happening. I hope. We can play this thing, and that gives one of these guys forest walk, which I don't care about. And I think that's probably right. He can like mana war this though, and that would be gross. Um, we can't do enough with the arrogant worm yet. I mean, we can drop a basking root walla and drop it after the provoke trigger, which involves like probably pitching a noble Templar to the survival. That seems reasonable to me. Um, yeah, let's go on that plan. So it's gonna look like I'm not doing anything essentially, which is okay. So let's let him attack. Okay, provoke triggers are now done. All right. So let's do this, discarding Noble Templar. And from there we find the Basking Root Walla. And now we see if he's going to counter that. Yeah, let's discard using Madness. Never don't discard using Madness. Now let's see if this resolves. It could get countered. But it didn't. And so now what do we find? I think we pretty clearly find an Arrogant Worm. That seems right to me. And then we're going to block here. Basically prevent 2 to us. And myrtleize that guy by 1. Kind of. Alright, so fine. Okay with that series of events. Now we see what happens here. Battle Screech is obnoxious. Because that's a lot of guys. Yeah. Okay, so how do we get rid of those guys? Fortunately, we have giant mantises that we can find. And we may want to do that. So let's see. We have a forest here. I'm going to be playing that forest. We can discard this and find giant mantis. We can play a Sylvos and just try to race him. Not sure how I feel about that, because we can't cast it yet. That's a problem. Maybe just like discarding something and playing the giant mantis now is right. Like there's this. I can probably afford to give something Forest Walk later. Maybe. Maybe I can't. Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to discard Elvish Aberration, because it's so expensive. And we're going to find Giant Mantis. And I'm going to play Giant Mantis. And then hopefully we can use that to eat his guys. Now he could have like a Mana War or something and just bounce it. And that would suck. Because he would deal a hefty amount of damage. And also these provoke guys can make him block. So there's that too. But he's not going to be doing that because he's doing... Ugh. That's fine. So this game isn't looking good just because of the sheer number of Screechers. Alright. So it looks like Basking Root Wall is going to be blocking one of those guys. I'm not sure which one. How about that one? Alright, fine. So we're at 9. We draw... I could have shuffled this away, but I wanted it. So this turn, Mantis is going to be stuck blocking that Deathblade Elite if I don't do something about it. But then we've got the Wild Mongrel too. But I need to block some of the birds, so I might have to Swords the Deathblade Elite. That's pretty bad. I'm not sure what to think about that, except that it sucks. Because then he pushes through for another 1 here, but multiple guys can block them next turn. So I'm gonna play this. And then I'm going to wait for his turn. So he could counter it, but so be it. I'd rather have the provoke trigger happen and have him plan on doing something else. What is this? Okay, that's okay for now. Can't do anything about that. Alright, so now he attacks. Yep. That's okay, though. So we go like this. Boop. And then boop. Alright. And this Mantis goes like, yum. And what happens then? Now I think Forest Walk is no longer feasible. As funny as that is. So we're going to pitch Urnhamjin, because it sucks now. And we're going to find another Giant Mantis. Alright. So we drew a card. That's not necessarily what we wanted to see, but it's not horrible. We have to play another Mantis. We have to hope he doesn't really have any way to remove this stuff, too. Then we have to play a Forest and play Mongrel. I should have left another white open. No, because I might want to use Survival here. We passed the turn. So this game's looking against us, but we're still in it, in theory. It's probably going to be drawing cards, yeah. Those are 3 cards that he got out of that, like a net gain of 3 from that. That's going to help him a lot in the long run. That's pretty good against us. Let's see if he gets in there. No. All right. So the question is, do I want to pitch this and find something else? I don't think I do. So Brindle Shoat is fine. We also have Simian Grunts. So I can pitch this for 4, find the Simian Grunts, and play it. That seems pretty strong. He could counter some of those things, so let's see. Discard 1, 2, 3, find... Yeah, we're going to try to make that play. I could also attack with a Mongrel. It doesn't seem right to me. It could be, though. He could, like, bounce a guy. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I would be happy to eat any of his creatures. Okay. Oh, that's gonna be bad. Okay. Well, I was kind of, like, afraid of that, I guess. And then the last guy gets tapped. We take 3. That sucks. Alright. Fine. Let's see what happens here. So this guy gets tapped. That's bad news. We take a lot of damage, but eat a couple of guys. Alright. Tap that. Pay green. Discard this. Put it on Madness. You got it. Click OK, then cast it. Alright, we drop that like it's hot. What is this? Rescind? Okay. So that's probably fine. We can just discard it again. I guess. And that's probably better than finding a Simian Grunts right now anyway, but that still sucks. Yeah, that's fine. And then maybe we find like a Finned Horned Elves as a blocker. I have to think about this. We have 7. Yeah, that could be the way we need to go. We need to drop Giant Mantis, so we have 3 or 4. Yeah, I'm going to bring a Finned Horned Elves out. It's no Simian Grunts, but... I just didn't block. Oh my god. Alright. So, we would have had another turn there. I mean, things weren't looking great for us, but that was no good. So, again, I still don't think bringing in Armadillo Cloak is right. Claws of Wirewood is clearly right, though. And then the question is... Wish I would have blocked there. I'm the king of just, like, making mistakes where I don't do things I should do. Alright. Akroma's Blessing is probably doable, so is Taro's Faithful, but... I don't know. None of these guys are super exciting. The Nevinyrral's Disc is scary. But I'm kind of happy with the way things actually look, as long as I bring in this Claws. This is probably still just a disaster waiting to happen. There's also Tangle, which could help situationally. Keep me alive or something. Afterlife is not extraordinary, because most of his guys are just about as good as most of his other guys. I mean, it's kind of good with Claws, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to cut that. I don't know if that can be right, but maybe it is. Let's not get, like, mana screwed here. Fine. We keep this. So I didn't show him the Simian Grunts. That's something worthwhile. And we go to our game 3. This guy's been fun to play with so far. I like at least screwing up, and then he's like, oops. But I think we could have had that game in theory. Probably not, though. At least we have something to do this turn, and I really, really want to see a land next turn. Like, really bad. Because I'd rather play this guy. He didn't do anything too exciting, but he could also have a Counterspell up. Such that I might actually rather play the Simian Grunts, because I can do it flash style. Yeah, and I chose to do that. Not sure if it's right. This guy will eventually have Forest Walk, so his provocability is terrible. See if he wants to counter this. He didn't. Let's Swords that later. Alright. So I'm not sure if that's right. Maybe he doesn't have anything. But he definitely could. So let's drop that. I'm definitely playing this Plains too. There's no reason not to. He's got to do something. He could play like another Plains and keep up. Counterspell. I just want Sylvos to resolve, kind of. Alright, so nothing there. That's something I can cycle for a forest, but I don't need to yet. I could also Swords this guy, get in. This isn't like the most exciting creature to Swords in the world. So there's that too that I should consider. A Trample guy is good. This doesn't solve a Trample problem. I'm going to aim to Swords this. Let's see what happens here. He doesn't have that many valuable targets. And I've got the tempo right now. So, yeah, let's make this go away. So now I'm going to attack. See if something happens. It does appear... Oh, nope. Nothing too exciting. Alright. And I will cast this guy then. Oh, and he does have a counterspell. Okay, well, so I gave him that little tempo boost, but we're still doing okay. If we can see another land eventually, and we can pitch this to find one if we have to, but I hope to just draw into it, we should be okay. That's kind of a bummer. Yep, there you go. Alright, and he's still got counter mana open. I'm just going to drop this. There's no reason to like play something that costs me 2 turns worth of stuff. He doesn't have counterspell. I think he would have countered that. We've got Berserk here as a finisher. I don't know if we can pull it off yet. He's drawing cards, which is good for him, but it also takes a while. See me drop like Phantom Nomad. Okay. So he can trade 1.5 for 1, kind of. Not sure how insane that is, especially because we're dropping this guy now. And I'm not going to attack. So next turn he's dead if I can get Berserk on this. I mean, if he can eliminate this, then... Okay, so he goes to 12. He's fishing for something, pretty clearly. We're at critical mass of ramp zone. Okay, so he doesn't have Rescind unless he's casting it right now. But I don't think he's going to do that because he's tapped 2 white. If he taps out, I feel like I win, unless he's killing Sylvos or neutering him somehow when he's doing it. So this is like his 1 or 2 spells that he has. I kind of like playing a little kid deck in this format. I didn't expect to do that. Is this getting cycled? Or is this just getting cast? Okay. If he attacks, I think he just loses. And this is going to be 16 trample plus he can absorb 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so that puts him at virtual 19, so 16. I think we just win. There's also that. So that's pretty good. Yeah, let's get in there. Let's little kid this up. Target creature gets +3, cast Berserk, only before the combat. I'm so nervous that I'm going to just do something wrong. Okay, let's see how he blocks. I think he gets to do that first. Okay, this is going to be, I think, disappointing for him. Yeah, that's okay. Stack him like that. And... yeah. I think he's going to take enough here where he dies. Alright, EGG's. So we, yeah, we're not going to put any more damage on that guy. And that's okay over there. So we brought him down to -7 with a Berserk play. That's kind of funny. And I will see you guys for round 2.